was that? Hello, everybody. Okay, so we're okay with that. I didn't realise I was alive. I can't believe that. I didn't realise I was live. Idiot. I didn't want to be live yet. That's never happened before. I was just going to go and get myself some M&Ms before I start. It's meant to stream through and then I click when I want to go live. And I don't want to be live yet. Genuinely, I'm not ready to be live. I feel like, well, just got to go with it, really. I mean, you're welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to That's Football. Just go and get them. I think I will go and get them. I am alive. I want to be alive, Ronnie. I just don't want to be live. I'm just hoping now that the audio's off on this. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. I hope you're all doing well anyway. Very, very excited to have the Premier League back. And Ipswich against Liverpool. Massive, massive game. And yeah, lots of people tuning in. Look, I think this game's massively interesting, I've got to say. Ipswich, Portman Road, Bobby Robson, Sir Bobby Robson, Terry Butcher, Jason Dezelle, Chris Kawamya, John Walk. Ipswich were a Premier League club. At one point, I remember I had the little Sabutio team. They're back in the Premier League. It's going to be a massive, 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 massive ask for Ipswich to stay in this league. But they do come into it with some real joy and hope. And they are a bit unknown. I think it's just very, very difficult for newly promoted sides to stay in the Premier League these days because, you know, you've got the likes of Brentford and Nottingham Forest and everybody who just, they're experienced in staying up and they know how to get 35 points. I think it's very difficult for the likes of Ipswich and Southampton and Leicester to get those points. But also very exciting to see how Liverpool do today. I mean, as a Man United fan, I'd love them to fall on their arse, but I have this feeling that the momentum that they built last season will continue again. I mean, you look at that attack. I mean, I did a video on this channel actually a couple of weekends ago where it had a few edits in, and I said that the way that Slot wants to play is that holding pivot, play through the middle, but also use wide players that can get in behind quickly. And I felt it would be Salah and Diaz with Jota, not as a false nine, but as the more creative nine. And I don't think that stands well for Nunez. And lo and behold, he's not in the starting lineup today, which may be fitness related. It may just be whatever. But I think this is probably Slot's best team, if we're being honest. I mean, you look at the bench and yeah, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott have done well. Endo's done well. Gakpo's done well. Kanate, Nunez. But really, I think this is probably his strongest team on the first game of the season. And there's not many teams that are going to be able to say that this weekend. Man United certainly couldn't say it yesterday. I think that's quite a strong Liverpool team to say that, you know, they've not made any transfer activity. I think some Liverpool fans can stop moaning now. Actually, now that the season has started, you can see that actually there's not a lot wrong with your team when everybody's fit. I mean, maybe in the Gravenberch position you put Zubimendi in there. Yeah, I get that, but there is not a lot wrong with that Liverpool side. Yes, it's nice to buy players in the summer, but there's not a lot wrong with it. I think they could win comprehensively today. I think they could be winning like 3-4-0. But look, so let's have a look at Ipswich. The new boys, always interesting to look at them. I mean, there are a couple of players we're aware of. Hutchinson, obviously, from Chelsea. Twansebi from Manchester United. Walton, Davis, Greaves, Wolfenden, Morsey, Luango, Hutchinson, as we've mentioned, Chaplin, Burns, Delap. They have to be a sum of their parts today. They've got to be a team that, you know, really, really plays well. Luke says Joe Gomez is out of the squad. He's probably up for sale. Yeah, probably. Probably wants to play first team football. Went to the Euros. Probably wants to be playing in the first team this year. Morning, Mark. 6:18 a.m. here in Texas. Come on, Liverpool. Ipswich looks nice, says Colin. Thanks, Colin. I am just going to go and get these M&Ms. Otherwise, you know, what's the point? All right. Drink it already. That's better. I'll be better now. I just needed a few M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms. Lovely. Right. Right, David Hogan says, I'm still buzzing after... I don't know if it came out there. Harvey Bradshaw says, watch out for Jacob Greaves. He's a right baller, number 24 for Ipswich. We certainly will. And David Hogan says, still buzzing after last night. If United lost, I would be in a bad mood all weekend, top of the league. Yeah, love that. Love that. Yeah, look, I don't... Massive Premier League day ahead. Make sure you've subscribed to get involved with That's Football. You're all very, very welcome on here. We will be doing Chelsea against Man City tomorrow. But Super Saturday kicks off with Ipswich against Liverpool. 3 o'clock games. I will be live monitoring all of those very much for FPL purposes and as well for Super 6. If you're playing in our Super 6 league, you can get involved in that. And Villa at West Ham at 5:30. Looks like being a cracking game. So very, very, very happy to have the Premier League back. And I tell you what, just a couple of things. Just if you listen to the Goldbridge Saves Football podcast, you can now watch it. We do it live at 12 o'clock on a Friday and a Monday. Very excited. Get involved in that live on Monday. But basically, we talk quite a lot about, you know, the issues with football. And one of my big issues last season was the amount of time that was getting added on at the end of games was incredible last season. The code for our Fantasy Premier League team is, I think it's 5QB. I can't remember. Someone in the chat will know. Anyway, last season in the Premier League, they were adding on 5 minutes at the end of the first half, 10 minutes at the end of the second half. I noticed in the Man United game yesterday, 4 minutes added on. Now, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this means we're going back to what they did in the Euros, what they did in the Champions League, what they do in Europe, and we go back to not having 10 minutes added on at the end of every game. I mean, 3QB 5BB is the code for our FPL, 3QB 5BB. So I'm hoping that we go back to that, because I think for the likes of Ipswich, if you're 1-1 or 0-0 or 1-0 up against Liverpool in the 87th minute and you're thinking, oh, it's only 3 minutes to go and then we're nearly there, and then you see 10 minutes flash up, it just takes away the romanticism of football. You know, we've always worked towards the 90th minute, and let's see how many minutes are added on. And for most of last season, it was, well, there's just no value in the 90th minute anymore because you know there's going to be at least another 10. So, yeah. The Super 6 code, Ash, is that's 6. THATS 6. I'll tell you what, just to be nice, I might actually have the... if you want to play Super 6, because it is a £2 million giveaway this weekend to the best person and it's free to play. We weren't meant to be promoting it, but there we go. Well, it doesn't matter as promoting it, but they didn't ask us to do it for this game. But I know this game's not a Super 6 game, so it starts at 3 o'clock. So if you want to play, we've got a league. We're going to give away a £100 voucher for classic shirts every week for the person who's top of the league. But 6 Premier League games predict the scores. More importantly, it's not about winning the voucher. It's about, can you beat me? Which you probably can't. And can you beat your peers? So get involved, scan the QR code, and the code is that's 6. Give it a go. Leif Davis, assist monster. Maybe one day he could be the England length back as well, says Robert McCormack. I bet he's got him in his FPL if I know Robert, like I think I do. Has anybody got any FPL players playing today, actually? I'm pretty sure I've got Jota. I'm not 100%. I'm going to have to log in now and confirm that. But some massive games, of course, today. But I think Liverpool will win this one. I think they'll win it 3 or 4-0. I mean, you can't ever be opposed to a potential shock. But I think it's got... the real potential to be a very good footballing game in relation to how it pans out, and that's what we want. I don't think Man United Fulham was that good last night. Slow sports news, I know, but I don't think it was that good. I thought Fulham were quite wasteful in the final third. And it wasn't the greatest of games, but I think today we might get one. Oh God, I had a terrible start in my FPL. Delit, 1 point because he didn't start. Garnacho 4, assist from the bench. Rashford 3, played 90 minutes. If Garnacho scores that open goal, I get assist for Rashford and a goal for Garnacho. I mean, these are the margins, people. Who have I got playing today? I've got Pickford in goal. He's playing against Everton, so that'll be good for 3 o'clock. Saliba against Wolves, 3 o'clock. Everton's Barco away for Brighton. Anthony Gordon at 3 o'clock. Isak at 3 o'clock. And I've got Jota in now. And then I've got Solanke on Monday. And I've got Haaland tomorrow. So I've got a couple of Newcastle players and Everton, Brighton and Arsenal later. But to be honest with you, I need someone to get me out of jail here because Garnacho and Rashford let me down yesterday. And that was a bit stupid. Really. But yeah, I need Jota from an FPL point of view to do well. Lots of people got Salah. Yeah, I didn't go with Salah. I didn't go with Saka. Who is the player to take a look at for this season, says Truly. Well, I've predicted that the Premier League player of the seasons will be either De Bruyne or Salah. So I've gone old school, vintage. You could go new school, people like Foden and Cole Palmer. You know what? The reason I've put Jota in my FPL team, just because we're talking about Liverpool against Ipswich. I don't know a lot about Ipswich. I'm intrigued to see how they're going to do. I think they've got every game is going to be a challenge for them. But I think the reason I've got Jota in my FPL team is really simple. Because I think that he is a player that when he got injured last season, around, March, Liverpool fell off a cliff. I think that Jota is one of the most underrated players, not only in that Liverpool squad, but also in the Premier League. He is so... I mean, he was absolutely unplayable at one point around February, March last season. Remember that goal he scored against, was it Arsenal or Man City? If he can stay fit, I think he's an incredibly important player for Liverpool, and he always seems to be involved and score goals. The problem is, can he stay fit? So I think he could be a really important player. But look, we're about to start here. Massively excited to see Kieran McKenna's Ipswich, and intrigued to see Arnie Slot's Liverpool. The first time I've mentioned it, and it's just as the game's about to kick off. Liverpool without Klopp. We move. Let's see what it's all about. Still retained a lot of players. Trent's still here. Robertson with the cross. Salah's still here. Van Dijk's still here. I'll tell you what, in relation to the midfield, if you can get Gravenberch cooking, he's a player that was always a hipster's choice. You know, Gravenberch, when he was at Ajax and he went to Bayern Munich, everyone was like, we want Gravenberch, we want Gravenberch. Not a great first season, but if they can get him going as well. Hi, Mark. I'm very glad this is back. I've missed it. Could you give me a goal scorer to put a fiver on this game, says Hessen. I'll go Jota. Yeah. He's in my FPL. Let's double down. Thank you for the super chats, by the way. I'll be hiding for Chelsea against City tomorrow, says Rob. I tell you what. If Chelsea can get a result tomorrow, and I'm hearing that Rodri's out, I think that massively enhances the chances of Chelsea. But you never know what you're going to get with Chelsea. You really don't. They're the rest of the games today. So Arsenal, Wolves, Everton, Brighton, Newcastle, Southampton, Forest, Bournemouth are all 3 o'clocks. Then you've got West Ham, Villa. I fancy Newcastle too. I think that some of the 3 o'clock games are very interesting. Everton, Brighton, Newcastle, Southampton, Arsenal, Wolves. I think we'll get 3 home wins. Well, no, I don't know what I do. I don't know Forest, Bournemouth actually. That's a tough one. I don't think that's even in the Super 6, but that's a tough one. Hi, Mark. Slot's team did look good in pre-season. Should be a good game. Loving the book, by the way, says Becky Hale. And hi, Mark. Very glad this is back. Thank you very much. Just in relation to the book, I don't just call it the book now. I call it a Sunday Times bestseller because that's what it is, thanks to all of you lot. If you're heading on your holidays or, you want to read something or listen to something, scan the QR code, Football According to Mark Goldbridge, give it a read. It's there behind my shoulder. And thanks everyone for their support, and it's had a lot of good feedback, so I'm glad that you've enjoyed it. Give it a listen or a read. Thank you very much. Zohad's a big fan. 10,000 tuning in already. A bit of a bad ball out by Van Dijk there, and a good block by Kwanzaa, but a bit of a chance for Ipswich. Chris got the book. Thanks, Chris. Right, here's a ball. They're using Diaz a lot in this first few minutes, and he's down that left-hand side again. Szoboszlai started the season well for Liverpool last year, got injured, and I think he fell off a little bit, didn't he? Let's get some upsets today and shake up the season, says Chris. Yeah, I don't know what the upset of the weekend's going to be. I've got Liverpool winning this. Man United won last night, albeit it wasn't convincing, but they still won. I think they deserve to win. Arsenal against Wolves, I fancy Arsenal. And, bad defending by Robertson there. Last man. I think the ref could have pulled a foul and given a yellow card there. Good cross by Ipswich into the back post. A little bit shaky by Liverpool in these first few minutes, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it was never going to be a red card. Ball in behind Robertson, makes a mistake. But I think if the ref had given the foul, it would have been a yellow card. And Kieran McKenna certainly wanted one. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I see any updates today. I don't see Southampton getting any upsets at Newcastle. Maybe West Ham Villa's a bit of an upset, but West Ham have bought well. I mean, hopefully Chelsea tomorrow, but look at that Liverpool high line, says Mox. Yeah, Liverpool are playing up. Mate, Liverpool, I know what you're trying to do, because I was saying how low Man United's line was yesterday. There's a very big difference between being at home at Old Trafford and playing a deep line and being away to a newly promoted side that you know is going to come at you like a bull out of a bloody gate, and you're away from home. I mean, you know, I don't know what level of football you've watched or anything like that, but actually, lots of top teams like to counter-attack. And if a team that you go away from home to wants to press you, Slot will be loving this at the moment. Brian says, United top of the league, get in. Yeah, well, we won't be for long. Yellow card. There we go. First one of the game. Only 5 minutes gone. Wolfenden. And it is, I mean, look at that. He's hungry like a wolf there. Wolfenden really should be playing for Wolves, but a bit of a. No, I'm not being a doomer about Man United top of the league, mate. We won't be top of the league for long because we only won by 1-0. So as long as it only needs a team to win by 2 goals, and we won't be top of the league. I'm not being a doomer. I'm just saying we probably won't be top of the league after this game. Morata says, "What's your fantasy looking like?" Not great. You know, I've got Rashford and Garnacho. If that goal goes in at the end, I was ready to hit the roof. And those are the fine margins. I'm gonna look. It's happened before. I'm good at it. I'm gonna be coming from behind. Not like that. Yeah. We're talking about football here, as we all know. It's a bit like Nigella Lawson and cooking. There's plenty of innuendos when you're talking about cooking that could be something else. What do you think about the Guehi price, says Shane? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. £65 million is ridiculous. I don't, look, if Newcastle really want him and they've got the money, that's up to them. Oh no, Ipswich getting caught under the press a little bit there. I mean, this is the thing that we've seen by... Let's talk about this. We saw Burnley do this. Very good team in the Championship. Killed everybody in the Championship. Came to the Premier League. Tried to play the same way. It wasn't successful. They got absolutely hammered and relegated. And Luton finished higher than them. Look, McKenna has a certain style of football. And I think if you give him a certain style of player, it will do well. But if they just try and play this brand of football every week, that is the risk, isn't it? It's the Burnley risk. Did McKenna carry Ollie on in the coaching? Says 58 go. I don't want to talk about that. I mean, let's not try and pretend that anything about the Ollie era was good. McKenna left Manchester United, went and did his coaching apprenticeship, and fair play to him. Mark, do you remember Twansebi against Mbappe? I remember Twansebi very well, Termo, because I think we all wanted Twansebi to be this top player. I mean, he was another player that was out injured for about a year, wasn't he? Liverpool on the attack here. Here's Jota. Good bit of skill. Looking in for Salah in behind. I think he's overhit it. No, he hasn't. Salah's going to pick that up on the box. And he wins a corner. What's the teams? Well, they should be going around the screen for you. That's the Ipswich team there. Do you play Ultimate Team, says Magic? Oh, I don't think anybody does it this year, do they? I mean, I don't, but I don't think anybody does. Right, corner to Liverpool. They were always a threat from corners under Klopp. I don't know what the referee's blowing up for here. 10 minutes already. Are you expecting any upsets? We literally spoke about that a few minutes ago, Teddy. I can't see... I think you're always going to get an upset, but I can't see where we're going to get it. I mean, Arsenal-Wolves would be a huge upset. Liverpool Ipswich would be a huge upset. Southampton Newcastle would be a huge upset. I just don't see it, really. But, you know, that's the challenge. We've seen plenty of opening day upsets through the years. And this is good by Ipswich. They've got a 3v4, and that's a bad ball, and Trent is there to get it clear. That's the thing about the Premier League. In those positions, Ipswich had a 3v4, well, 4v3 for them, and you've got to have that quality there. In the Championship, you might, you know, have 4 or 5 opportunities like that a half. In the Premier League, you might get 1 in a game. Serious question. What are your thoughts on hot chocolate, says James? I don't really drink it anymore, but I do like it. Nazza says, Liverpool downfall, we will be there. Whatever the cost, says, I love the book. It made me go and get a can of Orange Tango. It's nostalgia, you see. Blackpool winning 4-0 in the opening weekend was the best upset ever, says Nathan. And I've just reminded me, actually, if you watched the podcast live yesterday, Charlton sent me their kit because they're my League One pick this year. They're actually playing right now 0-0 against Leyton Orient, local derby. And Killen says, there's a lot of changes in terms of rules, VAR, refs announcing the team they support. What are your thoughts on these changes? I don't think there's been enough changes in VAR, to be honest. Oh, lovely play by Gravenberch there. And shit pass. Erkin says, Chelsea beating City is going to be this week's upset. Mate, I think we'd all love that upset. There's that ball over the top. Keeper's there, sweeper keeper. Ryan says, United beating Fulham was already the upset of the week. I think it upset a lot of people. I think it upset a lot of Man United journalists and fans, actually. Bitter gets. But Ipswich in again here. Oh, good defending by Kwanzaa. It's been a good game. Oh, referee. Right, went through the back of Gravenberch. I don't think it's getting, maybe yellow card. I thought he might get away with it. But he's gone through the back of him there. It's another yellow card for Ipswich. They're going to be eager. You can't knock that. Opening game of the season. Hutchinson. It looked a little bit worse than it actually was, but yellow card. Amari Hutchinson. Over eager, maybe. Lindelof on crutches, Mark. Thoughts? Ashish? I mean, just another player that United need to sell that probably be injured again. James says, hold on a minute. Liverpool just playing out from the back here. They do it well. James says, I'm a West Ham fan and I'm genuinely curious as to why you aren't rating us this season, considering the transfer window we've had. No, I really like Fulkrug. I mean, I'm looking forward to that watch-along at 5:30. I like Fulkrug. I do like Wan-Bissaka. And you've already got a few good players. Salah down the right. Cross comes in. I think it's not that I don't rate West Ham. It's more that I've seen this movie before. Mid-table team wins the transfer window, ends up mid-table. It's so hard to break into the top 8. And I don't think West Ham's transfer window puts them in the top 8. That's all I'm saying. I'll give you 9th, but are West Ham going to finish above Man City, Arsenal? No. Liverpool? No, I don't think so. Newcastle, Man United, Chelsea, Villa, Spurs. That's the challenge. If you can do that, you'll get all the plaudits. Maybe West Ham will be the shock of the season. They've certainly bought well. I like Todibo as well. I mean, he bought 3 very good players. Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Fulkrug, very good players. You've got people like Paqueta, Kudus, Ward-Prowse, Bowen. Sod it, I've convinced myself you're going to be in the top 8. No, but look, you could be in the top 8, but what I'm saying is it's very difficult. It is very difficult to break in there. I'm with Ali Adi. I think Newcastle are being slept upon. You know, you think about Isak, proven Premier League goal scorer. Anthony Gordon, Liverpool wanted him. Bruno G's still there. Tonali will be back soon. Lovely ball over the top. Salah's not took it down. I think no European football for Newcastle as well. Yeah, it's beyond. If Man City weren't so good, the Premier League would be so exciting because there's so many good teams that can beat each other in, like, you know, Villa West Ham at 5:30. I think a lot of people are saying West Ham win that game. And Villa are in the Champions League and they finished, you know, 4th place last year. So, how's the game? Says iCup. It's been a good game, actually. Liverpool 66% possession, but Ipswich have been very tenacious, and they've been a threat when they've had the ball. No chances for either team yet. Szoboszlai with a shot there that will go for a corner. But I think Ipswich has done quite well, but the quality gap is there, of course. They've just got to keep fighting. Oh, my daughter's just scored a hat-trick as well. Doesn't even play up front. This is going to make you laugh. So my daughter plays for an academy under 16s. She scored a hat-trick. Doesn't normally play up front. Guess what academy she scored a hat-trick against? It's poetic. And all I can say is I feel happy. Doubly happily because of the shit I've had to put up with over the last 10 years. So she scored a hat-trick, her first ever hat-trick. It's against an academy, under 16s. Whose academy do you think it is? Not United. I wouldn't be happy about that. Why would I be happy about doing it against United? No, it's not United. Yeah, a couple of you've got it right. As a Football got it right. 5-1 is the score. She's got a hat-trick and assist as well. Forest. West Bridgeford has been taken over. Yeah, I'd prefer it to be against City, but City have probably got a very good academy. But she's chopping down those trees in Goldbridge's old stomping ground. And I'm very pleased. She's a holding midfielder. I don't know what she's doing playing up front. She's obviously got the inherent, you know, I don't know, maybe they've got injuries, thrown her up front, but you know, it's genetics. It's genetics. She's never played up front before, scores a hat-trick, because somewhere inside that head will be my DNA. And she'll just be hitting him in the bottom corner and going, I don't know how I did this. And that's just genetics. That's what it's all about. Is your daughter a United fan? Yep. I don't know how you can bring up a child that doesn't, you know, if you're a Liverpool fan and your kid supports Man City, what have you done wrong? You've got to have a long look in the mirror. And you know what I call that? Weak parenting. Oh, it's not up to me to you know, I want them to make their own choices. Yeah, make your own choices then. You're getting adopted. Yeah, I don't understand people who can't control who their kids support. And it's not control either. It's subtle. Oh, look, here's the new Manchester United kit. It's not my birthday. Put it on. Let's get in the garden. Why have you put a bag of cement in goal? Because it's Edison. This is what I do with Seb. I'm Bruno. He's Rashford. That's all we do in the garden. You just got to get their brain into associating football with your team. It's a bit difficult if you support someone shit. I understand that. But really regret putting Salah in FPL, says Josh. Mate, we've had 20 minutes. Ipswich got a chance to whip a cross in. Oh, header straight to Alisson. Didn't get any power on it. iCup says, how come Seb supports Harry Maguire? Because he plays for Man United, mate. It's not like he's supporting Erling Haaland, is it? Charlie George says, I'm an Arsenal fan. I know that name from your history, mate. VHS videos with my granddad, Charlie George. I used to watch all that. Do you think Arsenal stand a better chance this season to win it than the last two? I do, you know. I do think Arsenal have got a better chance of winning the title this year than last year, but that's only because I think Man City, and I'm not bothered about upsetting Man City fans. I think Man City are going into this season, from what I've seen in the transfer window, a little bit defeated. They're still better than everybody else and they're still the favourites, but it's almost like the 115 is their biggest concern because they haven't bought anybody yet, really, have they? I know they bought that Savio or whatever his name is, but he was a Man City player anyway. He's part of their bloody connect, isn't he? I don't know. Alvarez going, not been replaced yet. I mean, look, they're probably going to go and spend 200 million in the last 2 weeks, but at the moment, Man City just seem a little bit flat. Will we get Branthwaite and Agate, says Ashish. I think United will get Agate, yeah. It'd be very interesting to see if Liverpool do some business. We've obviously got some Liverpool fans in the chat. What are your thoughts about the first 20 minutes and what are your thoughts about actual transfer activity? Caleb says, do you think Timber will start? I think he'll start him at left back, but he might go with Calafiori, I suppose. Thomas says, so your dad's weak then because he's a Chelsea fan. But my mum and dad separated when I was like 5. So it's hard to imprint your team onto somebody when you don't live with them. Apparently Timber's injured again, says Paul. There he is, Fanta Pants. I don't know what I think about him, you know, and his music. Ipswich doing well at the moment, though. They're in the game. I've played the game and they're in the game. Mark, working last night and all weekend, says Frora. I've got you in the background, keeping me going. Cheers, pal. I reckon Ipswich gets something from this. Thanks for all the super chats that are coming in, by the way. You can do that through the $sign. Make sure you subscribe. It's free, bottom right-hand corner. Where'd you get Fanta Pants from? Well, my mum. I remember her saying that, and I just thought that was absolutely brilliant comedy, and I've never forgot it. Basically, there was this woman who was a right bitch who worked at the local co-op, and my mum got in the car and went, "Oh, I tell you what, that Fanta Pants gets right on my nerves." And I said, Fanta Pants? Who? She went, Carol, who works behind the counter. And then I realised what she meant. I thought, that is that is quality. Keep up the good content, says Fisk. Thank you. Oh, another late tackle there by Burns. Another yellow card. 3 yellow cards for Ipswich. That one to me feels a little bit harsh. I mean, he's tried to win the ball and he's caught him. Three yellow cards in the first half an hour. First 25 minutes. It was still 0-0 between Charlton and Leighton. Orient. Also, Derby beating Middlesbrough 1-0. Carrick. Coventry won last night. My pick in the Championship. Nice ball in behind. Good play by Twan Sebi. And is he given a corner? Another corner? Yeah. Corner to Liverpool again. Then number 4. Fraser McIntosh says, "Hi Mark, how have Liverpool looked so far? Unfortunately, I can't watch the game as I don't have the TNT Sports, but I'll always tune into the watch-along." Look, there's not... If I was an Ipswich fan, let's look at it from both sides. If I'm an Ipswich fan, I'm very happy. You know, a bit worried about the yellow cards, but the effort levels, the organisation, there's clearly a skill gap. Liverpool have got better players than Ipswich, but they've been well organised, they've been tenacious, they're having a go. I'd be very, very happy. From a Liverpool point of view, yeah, they know they're in a game, and they've just got to use that experience to, you know, concentrate, grind it out. It's one of them afternoons where you're starting to think now, we'll take 1-0, 2-0. So I think that both teams won't be unhappy. What I would say from the third perspective is, as somebody who's just watching the game, yeah, I think Liverpool are the better team with the better players, but please show me the chances. We've not had any chances for either team at the moment. So you've got to say, at the moment, yeah, it's probably more likely that Liverpool are going to score, but Ipswich they're not conceding the chances either. Umsey says, "Does your daughter play for Southwell City?" Never heard of them. Obviously not. The Breaking Bad derby in round 3 is going to go hard, says James Manning. Yeah, Ten Hag against Slot. I wonder what you're on about then. I thought you were talking about Derby County. Talking about Fanta pants, you know what we used to call Derby fans when I was growing up? Because I grew up in Nottingham. Think about their badge. What's on a badge of Derby County? It's a ram, isn't it? So what offensive thing do you think you could say about Derby County? Liam's got it. Liam Doherty says sheepshaggers. Not my words. Well, it was my words about 30 years ago, but... Blues enthusiast who's a Chelsea fan, what are your thoughts on us potentially getting João Felix back? I mean, I think João Felix is... I've got a soft spot for João Felix, and it's irrational. When I heard he might be going to Villa, I was like, oh, that'd be a really good signing. So, look, I've always got time for João Felix. Oh, he's given a foul. Another corner for Liverpool there, but keeper's on the top of it. I mean, look, the thing about João Felix, it is a foul as well. Kwanzaa shoved the back of the Ipswich defender. The thing about João Felix is that I would normally say don't go back to Chelsea because you've been there before. But then being at Chelsea 18 months ago and being at Chelsea now is basically like playing for Arsenal and playing for Chelsea, because they're just different, you know, different managers. Most of the teams changed, so yeah, it could work. But what Chelsea need more than anything else is a striker that can score goals. Nice shirt, says Mark. I really do like this shirt. The material is sort of like a mesh. I'll tell you what, I was down the local pub a couple of weeks ago, you know, when it was like 30 degrees. I had this on. Total strangers were coming up saying, how can you wear a black shirt? And I said, feel it. And it's not football shirt material, it's nice material, but it's got like, you feel quite cold in it. It just lets air in. The ref's a clown, says Ayerson. Entire Ipswich squad will get the 5 yellow card ban on match day 4, says Danny on the gas. Well, no, I disagree with that, because I think what's happening in this game is that Ipswich are obviously first game. Liverpool are a big team. You've got to be really, really up for it. You know, you've got to show your worth. You've got to get your fans ready for a tough season. They've got a horrible start to the season, Ipswich, by the way. Manchester City away next week. So this is massive for them. You can almost understand why they're a little bit hyped, because first game in the Premier League at home against Liverpool, you've got to give that, you've got to play on the edge a little bit. You've got to go into tackles that you might not do, because you've got to try and get every advantage you can, because if you lose to Liverpool, you know you're losing to Man City next week. You know you are. I mean, all due respect, they are going to get beat by Man City, and then you've got no points after 2 games, and then you've got Fulham, which, you know, I think they could win that, but if they don't win that, then you've got no points from 9, and everyone's going, Ipswich, the dream's over. So there's no easy games in the Prem. So I understand why Ipswich are, you know, playing on the edge a little bit. Ipswich showing they won't be bullied at home, says Nelly. And your home form's massive, isn't it, mate? Look, you play, what, 19 games in the Prem at home? How many points is that? 57? You get 30 points at home, you're staying up. Edge of the box, Szoboszlai, good block. You've got to block your bloody there. And they're breaking Ipswich. They're breaking. And they are breaking. He's in a one-on-one. Hutchinson. He's not in a one-on-one because the pace of the Liverpool defence there is so good. He's going to shoot. Ooh, I tell you what. Good player. Hutchinson's a good player. He will score goals for Ipswich. Bit greedy, but you know what? I've said this. I've played the game. I'm telling you now. You put Isak up front for Ipswich, they'd stay up. You put Ollie Watkins up front for Ipswich, they'll stay up. It's goals that get... It's goals. It's goals. It's all about goals. He did well, though. He did well to get the shot off. Foul. Mitish says, do you think we should sign Chiesa for 10 million? Who's we? I'll say in the general sense, Chiesa's a good player, but I just think there's issues, isn't there? Szoboszlai's got a bit of blood on his face here. Jeffrey says, looking at Salah, it reminds me of the story of Samson in the Bible. Guy's lost his mojo without his hair. Thank you very much for your super chat, Jeffrey. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We are getting very close to... that's wrong. 1.22. We need to change that. We're very close to 1.24. We're only about 200 subscribers away. So 240,000 subscribers. 1,240,000. 240,000. We're about 200 subscribers away. So please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football. We have got the 3 o'clock games as a watch-along for you. I'm doing Villa against West Ham as a watch-along for you. I'm on United Stand at 8 o'clock. And tomorrow we've got Chelsea, Man City as a watch-along. Monday lunchtime at 12, we've got a Premier League review, live, Goldbridge Saves Football podcast from the Goldbridge Arms, live at midday on this channel. And then Monday night, we've got Leicester at home to Spurs to complete the opening Premier League weekend. So it's loads of football, loads of conversation, and everybody is welcome on this channel because it's not club specific. Right, Liverpool... Really, I mean, the thing I'm looking at in this game is we really haven't seen chances. Which for me is a big tick in the box of how well Ipswich have defended. Look at that. No, look at that. Man United 1, Fulham 0. Look at that. Look at it. Read it and weep. That's what I want you to look at. No, I wanted to look at this. No shots for Liverpool at all on target after 33 minutes. Very good. And I think the biggest thing I would say about Ipswich as well is no shots on target for Liverpool so far. They don't look like they're going to break them down either. So as much as we talk about can Ipswich score goals, you know, their style of football, etc. But what about the defence? What if Ipswich are going to play like this all season? What if they're going to be really well drilled, well organised? Because Liverpool don't look like scoring at the moment. If I'm Arnie Slot, I'm like, you know, we don't look like we're going to score. Richard Bowyer, thanks for your super chat. He says, thoughts on Gary Neville being two-faced to Ten Hag? They're all at it, mate. I mean, did you see Martinez and Carragher yesterday? I mean, I don't. Are we watching football or pantomime? I mean, they slagged them off and then they smiled to their face. Cowards. Cowards. Why do you stand up now, Mark? Says Murrayland. It'll be the new thing. Like, no one used to do watch-alongs. Everyone does them now. And I've always said that when I'm down the pub or I'm at a match, you stand up. You stand up. When I go and watch Seb play on a Sunday morning, I'm not there with a bloody chair. I'm stood up. I like watching football standing up because I think psychologically you almost feel more involved. So I've got myself a stand-up desk, and for the watch-alongs, I'm going to try and stand up a lot more because I think it just gets me more involved. So I've still got the chair for other shows, but I think for this, I like it. Umzi says, Man United historically are the best at countering. Weekend Bus says, the Ipswich left-back looks good. Well, shout out to everybody who put him in their fantasy Premier League team. Apparently, is it Davis? He's going to be an absolute assist monster. Was it Robert McCormack said? Davis, number 3. Here's Jota, though. Bad pass. But Diaz! Keeper, well done. Well done, keeper. Well done, Walton. He's got, I mean, that for me looks 50-50. The ball falls loose in the box. Diaz and the keeper are going for it. And for a moment there, I think Diaz is probably going to be favourites. And the keeper just throws his arms on it. And Ipswich would not have deserved that because it would have been a... Jacob says, Martinez speaks really well, though. Pure warrior. Yeah, so I don't know about Neville being a hypocrite because I didn't listen to any of it yesterday. You know what, though? I have to be very careful because for the last 2 years, I did have a show on TalkSport and, you know, I was probably a little bit more respectful out of professional courtesy. Whereas now I just don't give a shit, and I just find the mainstream repulsive. Having been behind closed doors, I mean, there's so many stories I could tell, which, you know, it's just not in my nature to do that because I just don't see what point it serves. But when you've been behind the scenes, disgustingly shit. It's so scripted. They don't freestyle. You know when you're watching somebody on Sky Sports News and they're barking, they're talking about, you sort of like go, God, how do they know that? And they're talking about every player that Brighton's bought, and you go, I know them. They haven't got a fucking clue. And then you spot something in their ear, don't you? It's all being fed through that. I like the standing up, but how are we going to see you lose your shit throwing your chair and pounding the floor, says Marcus. Well, I can jump around a bit. Mark, just watched Alien Romulus 9 out of 10. Is that out now, Liam? I want to go and watch that. I do want to watch that. Jim says, will the real Mark Goldbridge stand up? We've got a chance for Robertson to whip a cross in. I mean, to be fair, we've seen more crosses from Liverpool than a John Terry spelling test. They just can't turn it into anything because Ipswich have been so well organised. I mean, Liverpool must have had about 6 or 7 corners and multiple other chances to whip a cross in, and they're not getting any joy out of it at all. Defensively, very, very good. HPN says, it seems like most are underestimating Villa this year. Is it just because we have Champions League this year, because we had a good window and just... look, I think West Ham, Villa, 5:30. Cracking game. Really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward, actually, to being able to watch the 5:30 games properly this year, because last year it was always got to get off because I've got to go on TalkSport. And I'm like, I'm just so glad that's over. And I can just sit and watch football and do the 8 o'clock show on the United stand and do what's real. How well did Mark... I've done that one from you as well. There was... I've got to apologise. I can't see everything, but apparently the referee bottled something. Oh, roof of the net. Header, Twansebi. Wasn't a great chance, but he sort of ran onto it, got the flick on it like that. And I think Alisson's never in danger, but then it did sort of drop late onto the roof of the net. Alisson certainly had it covered. But you would say, I mean, they're not clear-cut chances, but Ipswich have had the better chances. Rakon says you should relegate peanut M&Ms, not Premier League standard. I like peanut M&Ms. They're my favourites. Thoughts on Carrick? Oh, he's given a foul. Thoughts on Carrick as manager at Borough, says KX. I don't know. I'm sort of getting more into the EFL scene this year. So I will, ask me in a few weeks. But he's losing 1-0 to Derby at the moment. It's competitive, the Championship, isn't it? It's relentless. Charlton still 0-0 with Leyton Orient, going for our second win in League One. I say our because they sent me a shirt because I picked them as my League One team to watch this year. I can be bought though, looking around at the kits. Quite like the Ipswich kit actually, classic Umbro. Yeah, look, this to me is why United fans shouldn't moan too much, because Liverpool under Slot, they're struggling a little bit. It's not easy. Opening game of the season, everybody's not fully match fit. Well, lovely turn here down the left-hand side. Go on. He's like Harvey Barnes. Done so well there. Really good play. I like that. I do like that. Look at this turn. Away from Kwanzaa. And I tell you what, Kwanzaa's never in danger of giving a penalty away, but lovely play by Delap. Talk to me about Ipswich Delap. Does he play for Ireland? Very Harvey Barnes-esque that was. Anyway, corner to Ipswich. Headed away. On United, when Hoyland gets back, who would you rather start between him and Xerxes? I don't care. I really don't care. I mean, look, waking up this morning and, I don't know whether you get it in other fan bases, but it's so nauseating. I really get excited for the start of the Premier League season, but in many ways, that's football is a lot less hassle. You just watch football, you cast your opinion out there, and if people disagree, they disagree. On the United stands, bloody hell, you say, could Rashford have played a better pass to Garnacho there? And oh my God, you're a hater, because the FC of Rashford comes pouring out. I can't stand it. It's the worst thing about football, player FC. People who are just blind to they support players over clubs. And we're seeing it again. Like, oh, Xerxes got to start over Rasmus. Then people start hating on Rasmus. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. You're not football fans. You've got no idea about success. When we won the treble, we had 4 strikers. Imagine the modern football fan dealing with Solskjaer, Sheringham, York and Cole. Their head is a blow up. They wouldn't know what to do. Like, I love the fact that we might have 2 strikers fighting for one position. One plays for 70 minutes, the other one comes on for 30. The next week, the other one starts. You need squads. It amazes me how Player FC exists in football, and yet Man City are the most dominant juggernaut and they have a squad. It's what holds a lot of clubs back. And also as well, the complete contempt that some fans hold for their own players. It's about their player doing well, not about anything else. Liverpool in the box, though, with Salah Trent over the bar, probably Liverpool's best chance, and it's a shot from the edge of the box through a crowded Ipswich box over the bar. And he's going to have to do something very special to score from there. And that, to me, is the credit that Ipswich defence deserve from this first half. Can I just say again, loving the fact that they're not adding much time on. That is really good to see. 1 minute added on at the end of the first half. We only had 4 minutes added on at the end of Man United Fulham last night. Last season was bloody ridiculous. 5 minutes at the end of a first half. 10 minutes at the end of a... Yeah, stop it. It will have a massive impact on injuries, that will. And that's half-time, and it's the Ipswich players. I mean, I bet McKenna's told them that. Half-time, Liverpool players start walking to the tunnel. Ipswich players are running to the tunnel. That's psychological. Energy. I bet McKenna's told them that. When the whistle goes, you run in. I want to psychologically show that we are focused, ready, and energetic. That's very clever from McKenna. Hi, Mark. I just bet my life savings on Ipswich winning the league, says Vincent. And what do you think of this camera angle, says Ibe. I honestly, mate, not really noticed the problem with it. So, you know, I might notice it in the second half now. Don't mind me. You remind me of Clarkson with some of your analogies on things. So random but funny and often spot on. Thank you very much, pal. Thanks for your super chat. Love the banter between Ten Hag and Roy Keane, though. I think Roy likes him as a manager, says Abhijit. Yeah, I don't think Neville does he? Currently out getting new breaks. Sounds like I'm not missing much. Hello, by the way, says Smoggy Monster. Hope you're doing well, mates. Thank you very much. Well, I tell you what, Ipswich have put the brakes on Liverpool in that first half to coin a topical point. I think that if we just get up the stats for the first half, first of all, look, I expected a good game. We've had 1 goal in the first 1.5 Premier League games. They'll be getting a bit nervous at Premier League HQ, saying we want goals. But, you know, football never follows the same pathway, and football is massively unpredictable. I thought Liverpool might win 3 or 4-0 today, this lunchtime, and they're not, because Ipswich, 1 minute, still going through the allergies this year. Probably the worst summer I've ever had for them, actually. Ipswich have just been so good. Organised. Yeah, they want to press. Yeah, they want to play a certain brand of football. But it looks to me like Kieran McKenna, and maybe they were doing it in the Championship and League One as well, but the Premier League's a different animal. And it looks to me like, you know, maybe they've looked at Burnley and they've gone, we might struggle to score goals, so we cannot afford to be conceding silly goals. And, I mean, Liverpool have not had a shot on target in 45 minutes. Yeah, they've had more possession. Yeah, they've had more corners. But they've not had a shot on target in the first 45 minutes. And their best chance of the half was Trent Alexander-Arnold from the edge of the box, which he was never going to score. So I think that Ipswich have defended really well. Yeah, they've been tenacious. They picked up a few yellow cards, but they've defended really, really well. I think for Liverpool, if you're Arnie Slot, welcome to the Premier League. It's a difficult game now, and you're probably looking at it going, let's keep our heads, let's stay professional. We've got a real game on our hands here. We've got the better players. We can't concede first, because if you concede first, that atmosphere goes up a level, and suddenly it's one of their famous days ever. So it's a real battle that Liverpool are in now. They can still win the game, but Ipswich will be growing in confidence. And Timothy Mowbray says Ipswich to get relegated. Mate, I think they will. I think Ipswich will. I think Southampton will. I think Leicester will. The simple reason being that you've got to get 35 points to stay up now, because the the Evertons, the Brentfords, the Forests, the Fulhams, they all know how to get 35 points. And as a newly promoted team to get 35 points, that's a real challenge. That is a real challenge. And all these squads that come up are championship squads, really. So it will be difficult. But look, I live for the day, and I'm sure you all do as well, where, you know, we don't want to see 3 up, 3 down. And at some point, we will get a team that can stay up, and maybe it will be an Ipswich or a Leicester or a Southampton. Soccer Blogger says, I see Ten Hag and Lissandro bantering with Carragher, Neville and co, and sometimes think it's really worth getting offended. Is it really worth getting offended on their behalf? Says Soccer Blogger. And Daniel Gant says, stop gatekeeping the shirt. What's the brand? It looks lovely the way it hugs your physique. Side note, I'm putting money on Ipswich staying up, says Daniel Gant. I'm not. What do you mean gatekeeping the shirt? If you don't know what that badge is, come on. Let me have a look at this. If you really want to know, because he did do a super chat. This shirt is... I will find it for you now. It's a black Ralph Lauren featherweight mesh shirt. I'm not putting the link in the description because Ralph Lauren do not need me promoting their shirts, but it's a featherweight mesh shirt, and it's the black one with the white emblem on it. Didn't think I'd be talking about that today. Why do you think Liverpool are struggling? Is it Ipswich defence or is it Liverpool's lack of intent, says SW. Look, I think the opening day of the season is a bit like the first game back after the international break. You do not want to be playing away from home. You think about the first game after the international break. How many teams drop points when they're playing away from home? And an international break happens because teams go away and play on international duty and they don't play together for 2 weeks. So, first game of the season, when teams haven't played together for 2 months, you're very rarely going to see a team firing on game one. Whether they've got all their players, whether they're waiting on players, whether they're waiting on transfers, you're never going to see it. So, I think that, Liverpool away from home against an Ipswich side that's up for it, with a new manager, and it's their first game without Slot. Look, Liverpool, if they win this game, will be very happy. If they lose it, then obviously people will start talking whatever they want to talk about. But I don't think it's as easy as opening game of the season, going to Portman Road and expressing yourself. Ipswich have been very, very, very aggressive. That's why they've got 3 yellow cards. And Liverpool first game of the season. I mean, look, is that a tactic in itself from McKenna? Let's be aggressive. First game of the season, they're not going to be totally fit. They're not going to have their rhythm going. Let's make sure first game of the season we're just really at them and we're really aggressive. Rattle them a little bit. Marks, I've done that one from Daniel Grant. Thank you very much. Okay, Ipswich will have done that one from Timothy. Did you see the result of the Coventry game? I did, George. I was thinking about ditching Coventry. They're my championship club, but they won last night, so I'm back interested now. But which way do you think this is going to go in the second half? I want to get a bit of a poll going here. Final result. Get ready to vote. Interested to see. We always do it before the game. But I think when it's a draw at half time, there's always a really interesting poll here. So where are you going to go? Draw, Ipswich win, or Liverpool win? Get your votes in. Who's your League Two club? Jonathan says Notts County. Notts County. I think if Ipswich score first, Liverpool will struggle. First goals are going to be very important in this game if we get one. Get your guitar out, Ed. He's gone to get it. What does he know about football? Bitchy. Right, Liverpool just lumping it long. There's been a lot of long balls from Liverpool. Yeah, but I think you've got to get used to that. I said this when I did the video on Arnie Slot. The wingers getting in behind is something that they will look for. They will look for that pass, certainly. They have not been able to get their rhythm going. Gravenberch's been disappointing. That's the area where they wanted to bring Zubimendi in. You know it's going to be McAllister. I wonder whether Curtis Jones comes on, actually. He's a little bit more tidy on the ball. Obviously, he's opted for Gravenberch. We know Curtis Jones likes a tackle. Maybe he'll try that. Obviously, he could try Darwin Núñez, but I don't think this game suits Darwin Núñez. So, Liverpool already struggling, says undefeated. SW says, I'm really impressed with Ipswich's left-back. Doesn't hold back against Salah. Mate, look. That's a great point. You know, not only has he been impressive, but he's doing it against Salah as well. But their right back's done well. Twan Sebi. They've kept their wingers very, very quiet. Just See says, where's the high line? Yeah, mate, you don't understand football. You're thick. What you're trying to do is, because I said Man United don't play a high line, you're now coming on this stream going, where's Liverpool's high line? And Liverpool are playing away from home. But not playing Fulham at home. Playing away from home against an Ipswich side whose tactic is to aggressively press Liverpool high up the pitch with a 30,000 crowd behind them as well. So it's a different game. It's not the same. And, you know, Liverpool will not play like this against many teams. But also, if you're Pep Guardiola or you're Arnie Slot and you're away from home to Ipswich, and they want to press you high up the pitch, really you're going to say do it, because you know good teams like to counter-attack against teams that aren't as good as them because they normally sit back. The problem is Liverpool haven't countered very well either. If Liverpool lose some games in the start of the season, do you think Slot will get as much of a pile on as Ten Hag? No, Jimmy. I think the Ten Hag thing is weird. I mean, you know, again, yesterday we had an ex-United player on Sky Sports before the game, basically slating signing De Ligt, even though it's an Ineos board signing. It's weird. It's really weird. It's hard work supporting United, actually, at the moment, if you're on social media, because there is this movement, this weird movement in the media, in some of our ex-players, that just want to be negative. And that it's almost like a secret club of trying to undermine what's going on, even though it's the start of something new. It's weird. They're almost like desperate for us to fail. And I don't sense that with Slot. I mean, obviously Arnie Slot's only in year one, but I don't see that happening really. Yeah. Parker says you should write a book on your extreme work ethic. And Mishra says, watch Liverpool thrash Ten Hag after struggling against Ipswich. Different game, mate. Different tactics, different game. You know, again, it's bad football analysis to go, that game happened like that, so this game's going to happen like that. Where's Paul Pogba, says Graham Souness. Thanks for all the super chats, by the way. And Standard Proof's laughing that it's 0-0. Mount says, he's just a very dislikable guy, Ten Hag. I understand that you don't think that because he's at Man United, but he doesn't represent you well. But I think that's just, you know, piss poor analysis of a human being, because we see Ten Hag as United fans more than you do. And to say he's just not likeable is just, that worries me about society, actually, because there's nothing unlikable about Ten Hag. He's not a horrible person. There might be levels to his personality that you don't get because you don't listen to him enough. But he's not like arrogant like Mourinho. You know, he's not aggressive like Conte. He's just people. I think people dislike him for reasons like that. They look at him and go, "I don't like the look of him." That's not a good way to be about anybody. That's judging somebody by their cover. You shouldn't do that. And you're probably right. Maybe people just look at him and go, "I don't like him." But trust me, as a Man United fan, there's not bad traits to his personality. Like he doesn't give off that. So, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe that is what it is. Ten Hag is still the best manager for Man United. He is this season. Look, I mean, we're not here to talk about Man United, but I suppose it's 0-0. He is this season. I will be critical of Ten Hag this year. You know, obviously I fought for him to stay. I wanted to see the trilogy. I wanted to see the third year. But honestly, we have got to be a bit critical this year because when you fight so hard for somebody to stay, you expect something back. And last night was a good result. And I think it's an even better result now, having watched this, because we know this Premier League is competitive. Oh, that was the one they were on about, where the ref didn't give the handball. Should have been a yellow card. Burns. Right, players coming out for the second half. Kieran McKenna. Which way is it going to go in the second half? FPL's doing shit for me. Konate's coming on. Don't know who he's coming on for. Presume it's Kwanzaa, but it could be Van Dijk. They got options on the bench, of course. People like Cody Gakpo, good player. Konate comes on. So I am doing the 3 o'clock games. We've got Arsenal Wolves, Brighton Everton. We're just going to keep an eye on them and other games. So 3 o'clock game and then 5:30 Aston Villa against West Ham. Gakpo looks like he's coming on very soon, by the way, if that's of interest to you. Kwanzaa came off. Referee's about to start the second half. Nearly 20,000 watching. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Absolute legends as usual. Thanks for all the support. Fantastic community here. Everybody's welcome, of course. Although not all opinions are welcome because we might disagree with them, because that's what it's all about. Well, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that Kwanzaa thing? I mean, I don't get the information through. So is that an injury or is that he was struggling a little bit? What are your thoughts on that one? Diaz down the left-hand side. Into the box. Another corner. Done well, the fullbacks. But they've done all well. Defensively, they've done well. Hope you're well, Mark. Keeping me going with decent football content in Australia, says Nevstar. I'm forever grateful. Really happy your book has smashed it as well, says Nevstar. Thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate that. Of course, if you want to order the book, or you can get it instantly on audio, just get it through Amazon and get the Audible book. Scan the QR code and get yourself that. You can get it worldwide as well. Corner to Liverpool here. It's in the box. There's loads of bodies in the box. Oh, Salah. I tell you what, it was curling through the crowd, and I think it would have gone in. But Ipswich will get rid of this now. McAllister does well. That's a bad pass. Yeah, back to the keeper there. Petterson says, this is a great question, actually. I'd like to read some of these out. Just on the half-time poll, but Petterson says, what's your favourite Premier League team to watch other than Manchester United? Now, I've got an answer to this very, very quickly, but I'd love to know some of yours. On the poll at half-time, who's going to win? 45% have gone Liverpool, 31% have gone Ipswich, and 24% have gone with a draw. I mean, that's pretty close. I mean, Liverpool would still be favourites, I agree. But 45% to 31% is closer than what you would have had before the game, certainly. So Ipswich growing into the game by the minute. Ipswich touch on the break hasn't been great, and that's why they haven't had a good shot yet. Liverpool's break great. Fair play. Oh, Diaz! Over the bar. That was the best bit of play. Edge of the box shot, but too much air on it. Oakley says, Liverpool's touch on the break hasn't been great, and that's why they haven't had a good shot yet. Fair play to Ipswich, though. The defence has been good. And R6 Champ says, people talking about Liverpool struggling, but any team will struggle against a newly promoted team for their first Premier League game. Yeah. Liverpool need a new left back. Robertson is regressing. This is Aaron. And how old is Andy Robertson? Anyway, we're getting a lot of West Hams, getting a lot of Villas, a few Crystal Palaces, a few Brightons, a few Wolves. I think, look, I don't know who it's going to be this season, but I've got to be honest. I think Brighton are probably the team over the last few years that I would say is the team I like to watch. They're so unoffensive. In a way that, you know, you can say I like watching Brighton because of how they play football, how the clubs run. So I'd say Brighton's always been the team for me over the last 3 or 4 years that I like to watch. Underdog story as well. But, you know, this year it could change. You know, they've got a new manager, new signings. It may well continue. Villa last year were very, very good to watch as well. Maybe West Ham this year, you know. Wolves under Gary O'Neill, you know. JM says, Szoboszlai in the 6. They need a 6. So Szoboszlai playing in the pivot. They need a 6 ASAP, says JM. Well, I don't think Szoboszlai is playing in the pivot. I think, unless he's swapped with Gravenberch. I'd be interested to see how Brighton get on against Everton today. You know, the opening weekend's always really interesting anyway, isn't it? But I think Everton under Deitch have really had some bad seasons, of course. And but they're at home. They're at home to Brighton. Under a new manager. An excited Goodison Park. You know, it could go either way. I've gone for a draw in that on my Super 6. Andy Robertson's 30, says it's Dave. Thanks so much. Just got a bit of a break here. There's an Ipswich player just struggling a little bit. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. We're only 100 away from 240,000. Thanks everyone who's been subscribing and getting involved. Remember, we've got more live watch-alongs for you this afternoon. We'll be live for the Arsenal-Wolves 3 o'clock game and all the others. And then West Ham Villa, which is a big, big game tonight at 5:30. The lineups will come out in about 6 minutes, mate, because they come out an hour and a quarter before now. Ipswich is going to have to make a sub here. Is it Burns coming off? I think it was Burns. Yeah, they're definitely going to make a sub here because Johnson is warming up. Can Liverpool show their quality? And Jota just not at it. Jota might be getting the FPL curse from Goldbridge here. Cameron Smith says it's also Everton's last season at Goodison Park. Well, you know what I think about that. Invited to play at Goodison Park, my favourite away ground, and then banned. So I don't have a lot to say about Everton, really. If they get relegated, I'm claiming the. I mean, I don't want Everton to get relegated, but they probably deserve it for that. Yeah, gutted. Favourite ground, banned. For what? I don't even know why. I mean, what have I ever done about Everton? Nothing. I can't think of anything I've done about Everton that would wind them up. I've just got no idea. I've got Pickford in goal for my FPL. I don't think Everton can go down. There's too many points. As I said, to stay up, a newly promoted team's got to get 35 points. I think that's difficult. Good play by Davis again. Into the box. He's had a good game. He's going to give it. Oh, I thought he was going to give it. I thought he was going to give a penalty to Ipswich. Offside. Ooh, I tell you what. I thought he was going to give the penalty there. I think he was going to give the penalty, and then he saw the offside. Where is the offside? Davis. That's not offside. I mean, it's a bit of a soft penalty, but I think it was the first ball to Davis. I reckon he was going to give. No, maybe he wasn't. Oh, they're checking the penalty. I think he is offside. I think he is offside. You never know with these camera angles, though. If this isn't offside, he's going to give a penalty. I don't think it was a penalty, you know, by the way. I thought he was going to give it. I think it's too soft to give a penalty because he's not getting the ball and it's a coming together of the legs. What do you think of Calvin Phillips to Ipswich, says Rips? He might do all right. You know, he's got to try and rebuild his career somehow, hasn't he? Yeah, they're giving the offside there. Would have been very interesting if it had been onside because I reckon they'd have given a penalty for that. HPN says, what new signings are you excited to see this year? Away from United, I think that always excited to see what Brighton have done because won't know most of their players, but they tend to go and produce really, really good players. So that'll be interesting. Calafiori at Arsenal. Interested to see what he's all about. That's a nice change of the play. Is the game going to start getting more stretched? Well, here's Trent into the midfield. And he's got a nice ball into Jota. But Ipswich have got the numbers back again. Oh. No. Not going to give that. Liverpool are saying, why isn't it a penalty for Diaz? He looked offside to me. But Liverpool's best bit of play this. Szoboszlai, Trent moving into the midfield. Nice ball into Jota. He's onside. Little dink to Trent. Diaz is onside. Definitely fouled. He's definitely fouled after the ball's gone. But I don't think that'll be a penalty. It's a FIFA penalty. Diaz should have focused on the goal, really. I tell you what, that would have been a very, very good goal for Liverpool. The way they played through the back there, that would have been a really good goal. But I think he was too focused on the goalkeeper. I think if he'd have focused on the finish, he'd have scored that. Outdoor Adventure says, I finally made it to Manchester and was at the match yesterday. It was amazing. Well, mate, you're a good omen. Needed that win. Phil Jones retired. I thought, what was he doing last year then? Skiing? I've played the game, says Rips. RL says, would you rather lose your wallet or your phone? I don't have a wallet. I haven't used a wallet in years. What would you put in your wallet? I don't use a wallet. Thoughts on Phil Jones retiring? What's this all about? How can Phil Jones be retiring? He hasn't fucking played football for about 90 years. And he left Man United a year ago. What was he doing last year then? If he wasn't retired, what was he doing last year? People are talking about Phil Jones retiring like it's Modric. Like, The guy doesn't play football. How can you retire? I'll tell you what then. Can I make an announcement? I've retired from Olympic diving after the Olympics. I'll no longer be competing on the high board, and I'm retiring from diving. It's the same thing. If you're not doing something, how can you retire from it? Apparently you can put money in your bank card in a wallet. Why not just put it in your pocket? Like a bank card's like that big. Just slip it in your pocket. I don't really carry cash, so. And if I did, I wouldn't carry coins. Here's Dia. I think Liverpool are going to score in a minute. Oh, they nearly did right then. Oh, they nearly did then. Great block. Ipswich, are they starting to run out of energy? Have Liverpool played the long game with half an hour to go? Oh, what a miss! And it's bloody Jota! He's in the fucking FPL and he's just missed an open goal, basically. What a cross by Trent. He's got... Oh, it's harder to miss. It's harder to miss. Literally, I could have had a Rashford assist, a Garnacho goal, and a Jota goal. And I've got nothing. Nothing. This is why I don't like this game. This is why I don't like this game. The FPL curse. Literally should have another 15 points. I don't know how he's missed that. Is that a worry for Ipswich, though? Is that a worry for Ipswich? Are they starting to tire? Amazing organisation and energy in the first 45. Is it now giving away to fatigue? It ain't easy, Brev. There's a lot more space out there. Trent's getting a lot of space. Salah's in behind. Jota, he scores. FPL. There it is. I do get the points within a minute, so it didn't really matter. But you sense that was coming. Liverpool have taken over here. I don't know what's... I think Ipswich have just ran out of steam because Liverpool have absolutely dominated them in the last 5 minutes. They've just carved them open like a Christmas turkey. Where's Ed Sheeran now? Go and write a sad song because it's sad for Ipswich. Carving them open here. Salah gets in behind the left back who's looking for an offside. Lovely assist by Salah, actually. Yeah, there you go. Salah assist points as well. Haven't got him. But I have got Jota. Now, you worry about Ipswich with half an hour to go. All that, but you know what? This is welcome to the Premier League. You can play well for 45 minutes. If you play bad for 45 minutes, you'll still get beat 3 or 4-0. I can say hello to Keelan, Ian, but I can't say the other name because it's Irish and I'm not very good on it. Hessen's just won 30 quid. Well done. Rip says it's the pink boots. Outdoor Adventure says, I was hoping you were going to be at the United match yesterday because I really wanted to meet you and shake your hand. Mate, I haven't been to a United match since before COVID. I am going in the next 2 months. But, yeah, life doesn't work like that for me at the moment, unfortunately. Liverpool are playing some good stuff here. Ipswich need to be careful, really careful. This could be... Lee says, have you ever been approached by the mainstream, Mark? Well, I had a show on TalkSport for 2 years. My own show on a Saturday night. That's never a handball. I have been approached by Sky loads of times to do Saturday Social and stuff. I just don't want to do it. I'll only do something now mainstream if it's something like that's worthy of what we've built, and they won't offer anything like that. You've got to have played the game. You've got to play the game for that. Oh, good cross. Ipswich on the ropes here. Jota. Still Jota. Another corner. They're rampant here. They're rampant. Corner to Liverpool. 20,000 people watching. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. It was a good first half for Ipswich, but the second half has been dominant. There's no doubt about it. It's 1-0 to Liverpool, and it's just a matter of when it becomes 2. And ultimately, you get nothing for 2 in a bed, and you get nothing for being, 0-0 at half time with praise. It's what happens at the end of the game. And Liverpool have played the long game here. However, Ipswich are on the break. Delap wants a penalty. Never going to get a penalty for that. And he got up. He got up. Ewan says, can you say hi to the Burt kids? Hello to the Burt kids. Hope you're doing well. Another substitution. 2 substitutions here for Ipswich. Dill says, hopefully Ipswich can do something here. I can't believe people are having this conversation. Ali Addy says, 1 more goal and United won't be top of the table. Man United won't be top of the table by tea time tonight anyway. We're not going to stay top of the table with 1-0 win. And it doesn't matter who's top of the league after 1 game. It's after 3. Salah. Getting so much more space now. Edge of the box. Szoboszlai to Salah. 2-0. Oh, he's got a new celebration. He's doing loads. He went like this. He's done another one. He's done 3. Robin Hood. Salah. If you've got him in your FPL, you're a shithead. Because I haven't. But I've played the game. I've read the game. I've seen this movie. And I did predict 3 or 4-0. And the way that left-back's got done there, he's had a bad half. Good first half. Second half, he's absolutely tormented him. And Salah's on a goal and an assist. I've captained Isak. I need Isak to tear Southampton a new one, basically. Yeah. I need Isak to be absolutely, Viagra. Banging everything that moves. 30 quid was from goal scorer. Bet you said to do, says Hesson. I make you money. I make you money. I did that to you last season as well, didn't I? Did it in the Euros. Hesson said, give me a bet for a goal scorer. I said Jota. It won't work every week, but there you go. Only Isak can save me now on FPL. Who's singing now, Sheeran, says Wes. Sit down, Sheeran. He'll sit down and write a song about this. It'll probably get a bloody #1. He loves singing about miserable things. I bet he's took a photograph of this. I'll tell you what, he'd be so upset and nervous, it'll be giving him shivers. I wonder if he's shouting and thinking out loud. He won't like the shape. I'll tell you what, he'll be saying to Kieran McKenna after the game, I don't like the shape of you. And ultimately, it's bad habits that have led to this 2-0. I'm already on 16 points in my FPL, and I've got Salah vice captain and Isak as captain, says Sean Dunn. Don't worry. He'll be saying, take me back to London after this. Back with all the rich people. He's done the Ipswich thing. He won't like it. Thank you very much for that. I have got Haaland in my team, but I haven't captained him, which probably means he's going to score 6 tomorrow. Liverpool, very impressive second half, by the way. I mean, I'm not going to sit and act like I'm not... What a ball. Diaz, he needs to pass back to Jota. Jota! Bloody hell. Is he invisible to you? Diaz is wasteful. Salah and Jota have played well. Diaz has been bloody wasteful. Here's Jota. See, Diaz, if you're on your toes, you don't have fucking tapping then. He won't be taking a photograph of this, says Josh. Corner to Liverpool. Cleared away by Ipswich. Hessen says, you've made me 90 quid from 25 so far, so you're a profit. Thank you, mate. Well, you've done well out of it. Eob says, Gravenberg's been good. He has grown into the game. But no, I'm not surprised by this because I did that video a couple of weeks ago about how Arne Slot can make Liverpool really good. And I suppose in a very short way, if you've not seen that video, interestingly, this is Jurgen Klopp's side. He's bought nobody, and I've never seen this before. Actually, I'm sure there is an example of it, but there is. This is Klopp's side, and he's not here. A new manager, pinging the ball around, and Salah's on 3. Oh, straight at the keeper. Ed Sheeran's the best rapper ever. Look, I'm not into rap slides, but Ed Sheeran to rapping is what Tim Sherwood is to punditry. Which team is the bigger juggernaut this season, Madrid or City, says Tony Start. Well, I suppose we'll find out in the Champions League. A lot of people saying Real Madrid are favourites. I think they probably are. Oh, Pat says Ed can rap. Oh, don't upset the Sheerans. I think he's done very well for himself. You know, if I saw Ed Sheeran in public, I wouldn't want a selfie. I'd just pat him on the head and say, you know what? Looking at you, you've done brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant. And I'd pat him on the head and walk away and say, do you want a pint? You know what I mean. Diaz into the box. Oh, good defending by Davies. It could have been 3. Ipswich are on the ropes here. They are. They're like a one-armed man hanging off the ropes with an itchy arse. They're just hanging on, and it's desperate. Can you rap, Mark? No, the only rapping I do is at Christmas. Salah. Well, I predicted on my Premier League predictions, I predicted Mo Salah Player of the Year. Stop the clock. He's got a goal and assist. That makes him Player of the Year. No, I think he will. I think if he stays fit, it'll be very difficult. I've got to get him in my FPL team, actually. How can you predict somebody's going to be Player of the Year and not put them in your FPL team, you absolute pillock? That's the sort of brain I've got. Creatively, dangerous. It's like fireworks going off everywhere, but there's no health and safety. How can I put Mo Salah as my Player of the Year and then not put him in my FPL? It's like taking a couple of Viagra and then going to bed for an early night. It's just stupid. I can't speak sometimes. Right, I've just left new book there if you want to order it, but that's been left there for too long. I'm surprised people aren't moaning. We actually want the stats to come around. Remember, we're back live just before 3 for Arsenal Wolves and 3 o'clock games, and then West Ham Villa at 5:30. We'll be live for that as well. So thanks everyone. But Ipswich making, there's no way back. There's no way back for Ipswich. Yeah. It's like being married and getting caught having a gangbang. There's no way back. You're never going to get past it. Unless you were doing it to spice up your life and they were involved. But if they've just come home from work and they've come back early, there's no way back. There's no excuse. And I'm not saying Ipswich have been banged. I'll tell you what I do think, though, on a proper analysis point of view, this is why they'll get relegated. This is why Southampton will get relegated. This is the opening game of the season. And for 45 minutes, they were very well organised, very hard-working. But they can't do it for 90. Even on the opening game of the season, with all the fitness and all the enthusiasm, they can't even do it for an hour. It's such a hard task in the Premier League to come up and do it for 90 minutes. If they could have played like they did in the first 45 for 90 minutes, they might have got a draw. But second half, it's been men against boys. It's been domination. And imagine what someone just said, this is at home as well, says Michael. Imagine what happens at Anfield. Well, that would be a gangbang. But, you know, this is not where Ipswich are going to win their points, is it? They're going to have to look at Man City away next week. Just enjoy a trip to Manchester. Book yourself into a nice hotel. You know, pop yourself down to the Lowry and maybe do the stadium tour of Old Trafford, and then start your season in a couple of weeks against Fulham at home. You know? Man City away next week for Ipswich, yeah. Bradley's coming on. I'll tell you what, I bet Sheeran won't be there. And again, it's the Etihad. No one goes, do they, to be fair? Thanks for all the super chats today. It's got loads and loads to come. I was going to say something here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Some good young players as well, Liverpool, haven't they? What a ball. What a ball by Salah. Watch Diaz fuck this up. No, he didn't. He played a good pass, actually. You know what, though? There'll be a lot of people watching this who know nothing about football, and they'll be asking the question, how are Liverpool finding so much space in the second half but they couldn't do it in the first half. For example, Liverpool had 0 shots on target at half-time. And you look at it now, they've had 3 shots on target, 12 shots altogether, 9 corners to 1. They've absolutely obliterated Ipswich in the second half. So why? Why is that happening? Why has that happened? And it couldn't happen in the first half. Honestly, I think Slot's tweaked things. I think he's asked them to move the ball quicker. I've definitely noticed that in the second half. He's asked them to up their... Slot bollocked them, says Utah. He's asked them to up the tempo. You know, I think in the first half, the passing was slower. I think he said move the ball quicker. He's certainly asked people like Trent to, move into the midfield, run beyond the ball. And I think Ipswich have tired. And I think that has generated the perfect storm for Liverpool, where more intensity from Liverpool, a drop-off from Ipswich, has led to obliteration. And I know people will say, well, 2-0 is not an obliteration, but it's 2-0 in half an hour, really. And it probably should be 3. Here comes Gakpo. This is important. Oh, no, he's took Jota off. Slot, you're a load of rubbish. You're a bloody... You're Klopp without the wig. What are you taking Jota off for? He's in my FPL. But look, the quality of the bench for Liverpool as well. Gakpo, Nunez, Cody Jones. What am I talking about? Curtis Jones, Harvey Price, Harvey Elliott. I always do that. It's not even on purpose. I always do that. They've got some really good quality on the bench. Andy Robertson's coming off for Simicas. What do we got? 10 minutes to go. I think if you're Ipswich, try and keep the score down now. As bad as it sounds, opening game of the season, you got Man City next week. You don't want to be playing Fulham with a minus 15 goal difference. Apparently Barca don't want to... Oh, mate. Talking about... Oh my God. I don't know. I blame Will from the podcast, right? He showed me a picture yesterday that might have been photoshopped of somebody with a second name Price. I nearly went to the toilet, and not in an excited way. I was going to throw up. I don't know whether it was going round a lot, whether it was photoshopped. Oh my God. It's one of them images you just can't get out of your head. It was absolutely disgusting. And looking at it, I don't know how it could be photoshopped, because there was splatterings of brown that would be really difficult to get on the stomach. Oh. And why would you let someone do that to you? And why would you want to do it to somebody? Oh, just disgusting. Disgusting. They're sex people, Lynn. Apparently Barca don't want to loan Longley to Atletico as they are rivals, but in the past have sold them via Suarez and Griezmann, says Tanishk. Thank you very much for your super chat, pal. Calvin Phillips sat on the bench for Ipswich. Thoughts on the Ben Chilwell situation? Would you take him at United, says Carl? Look, not everyone in this chat's a United fan. Would you take Ben Chilwell at your football club? Because if you would, you're a fucking idiot. I don't know why Man United are being linked to Ben Chilwell. He literally is a crap Luke Shaw. Like, Luke Shaw's better than Ben Chilwell. The only thing they've got in similarity is passport and being injured all the time. I mean, what idiot is going to go, Luke Shaw's injured all the time. I thought of a really good replacement, Ben Chilwell. I mean, he's literally injured all the time, and he's not as good. Colin says, Slot is the first manager out of the last 4 or 5 we've had to win the opening match. There you go. And Seed says, here comes, why has Slot already got Liverpool playing better football than Ten Hag, Prats, says Seed. Yeah, you know what? If I see anybody talking about that, they belong on a certain radio station because they're idiots. Like, there's levels to understanding football, and I'll just give it you in a couple of sentences. Erik ten Hag inherited the worst ever Man United Premier League side, which was built on crappy counter-attacking football and the lowest ever points total we've ever had. Arne Slot is inheriting a team built by Jurgen Klopp, one of their greatest ever managers. That's it. That's basically the difference. And that doesn't mean that Arne Slot's not better than Ten Hag, but it doesn't mean Ten Hag's worse than Arne Slot. It just means that it's two football clubs with great histories and great rivalry in completely different situations. Liverpool over the last 5 years are on a different level to Manchester United, and you can't compare them. What Man United are trying to do is build a structure to compete with the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City. You don't just pick the team up and go, I'm going to play like prime Liverpool. Like, this is a dynasty that's been built by Jurgen Klopp, and Arne Slot has picked up with no signings and got them playing like this. It's a structure. It's a continuity. I think Liverpool have been very clever. I think they've been very clever. It's the path less trodden to replace a manager with a manager that doesn't want to change anything. I think it's really brave and it's really clever, and it could be revolutionary to football if it works, because everybody comes in. You look at Van Gaal at Man United, won the FA Cup. We've only won the FA Cup twice in the last 10 years. We won the FA Cup with Van Gaal. Mourinho tore it down. I don't like your players. I want my players. That's what happens. New manager comes in, my way now, get rid of them. I don't like that. That's what they did. It's really brave from Liverpool to go, we want a manager that's going to come in and continue the work that Jurgen Klopp was doing, because we didn't want Jurgen Klopp to go. He went because he needed to go. So we want to continue what he was building. Can you do it? $85. I think Ipswich might just get away with 2-0 here, and I hope they do. Have you noticed that there are fewer people, proper number 9s nowadays, can count with one hand the number of world-class strikers today? Why do you think that is, says Chiri? I think it's a great point, because, Erling Haaland can break goal records, and then he can play against United in the cup final or such and such in the Champions League, not score, and he's he's called shit. I mean, Erling Haaland's probably the best number 9 in the world, but you can keep him quiet. And I think, I don't agree with that criticism. He's still the best striker in the world, but you can keep him quiet. And I think the modern manager panics about that. What if my number 9 gets shut out because he's not actually good at holding the ball up and, passing and playing? So what teams do is they look for goal scorers who can actually, drop in and be creative. So, I mean, look at someone like Jota. He can score goals, but he can also create goals as well. And I just think that's the way football's gone. But it will change. It will change. I was watching, what was I watching the other day? I was going to share it onto social media. I can't remember what it was. It was the top 10 goals from 2002 Premier League, because I think it was around Van Nistelrooy. And I was like, oh my God, top 10? We wouldn't get 10 of them in 5 years. Like, football's just so different now. People aren't taking shots or taking people on. It's just not happening. But it will change. There aren't many footballers who take people on, but it will change, because I've said this to you so many times. It's all right to be well organised and pass through the lines, but you can't do it. Your organisation and your passing through the lines doesn't do shit if I take you on and I go past you, because someone's got to come to me, and then all your organisation's out of the way. So football will evolve. Everyone's just up the arse of Pep at the moment. Every style of football is an evolution of what Pep did. And at some point, somebody will invent something new based on the old, which is what Pep did. And we will, it's about coaching though. Even like Seb under sevens, it's all about passing lanes and passing in triangles. And, you've got to learn, you've got to teach people to take people on more as well. It will change the game. You've got to teach people to have shots more as well. What would you rather see? A 20 pass goal or a half volley from 40 yards out? What would you rather see? A 20 pass goal or someone skip past 5 players and put it in the bottom corner? A 20 pass goal when I was growing up was niche. It was like, oh, that was impressive. But the good goals would be like Maradona against England. Van Basten against Germany, 88. Those are proper fucking goals, they are. Apparently, Ipswich are looking at signing... Yeah, I'm not reading that, Sam. I'm not thick. Would you rather fight Juan Mata or David Silva? I don't want to fight either of them. They seem like nice guys. On the other hand, Liverpool impressed me today, says Bart. I expected them to be worse today. On the other hand, it is against Ipswich, and they're a relegation candidate. Have you noticed there are a few... I've done that one from Chiri. Look, Liverpool play Man United in 2 games at Old Trafford. Liverpool's next game will be at home against Brentford. So Liverpool will be looking at 6 points going to Old Trafford. Win at Old Trafford, 9 points, and the slot revolution is up and running, isn't it? And it's up and running here. It's a 3v4. Leave it. Diaz. Greedy Diaz loses it. He's infuriating. I just tweeted it there. I don't know whether we've got any Liverpool fans watching. I like Luis Diaz, but I know a few Liverpool fans who really, he frustrates the shit out of them. This is probably the first one where I would sit and say to them, you're right. Like, he is infuriating. Like, if you had him in your FPL, you'd be bold like Slot. Because you'd be pulling your hair out. Like, Liverpool really could have won this 4 or 5-0. If Diaz knew when to pass and how to finish, it would be 4 or 5-0. He does everything right apart from the final ball. Scouse Anthony. No, he's better than him. He's definitely better than him. 8 minutes added on. Fucking hell. I'm gonna tweet that. That's a joke. That's an absolute joke. Is that what he's adding on? 8 minutes? Eight minutes at the end of a game like this is absolutely incredible. He's added 8 minutes. Fucking idiot. 8 fucking minutes. I thought we were binning all this shit off. Well, at least it's another topic for Goldbridge Saves Football. 8 minutes. Fucking hell. There's not 8 minutes in that game. We've had a couple of stoppages for injuries. We've had a few substitutions. You don't need 8 minutes for that, mate. People don't understand the correlation. I tweeted it and someone said, you don't get injuries because they're adding too many minutes on. It's like saying you don't get pregnant for shooting your load up a chuff, do you? I mean, come on. Of course you get, like, elite athletes giving everything they've got for 90 minutes. The stats will bear this out. You add another 10 minutes on top of a game where a player psychologically is thinking, I've got to give it all for 90 minutes. The chances of them getting injuries and muscle fatigue injuries in them last 8 minutes go up massive. Not as a one-off. Not as a one-off. But if you do it every week, that accumulation will lead to an increase in injuries. 100%. We had a 20% injury increase by Christmas last year. Why? Because every game was adding 10 minutes on at the end. You can't keep doing it. Cambiasso goal in the World Cup 06 was orgasmic. 26 passes, par for the course now though, says Connell. Corner here to Liverpool. Yeah, I'm back live at 3, by the way. I'll be sitting down for that. I can't stand. I'll stand up for Ipswich and I'll stand up for Villa and West Ham, but I'm not. I'm not going to sit down for 3 games in a row. Stephen Hawke says, if they add 8 minutes onto every game, then that's after 38 games. That would be 3 extra matches played. Robbo says, PJ Mal remembering what they're supposed to be prats with the 8 minutes. Fucking just idiotic. Absolutely idiotic. You know what, though? Forget the injury risk. I don't know anybody who enjoys hitting the 90-minute mark and going 8 minutes or 9 minutes or 10 minutes. I don't know anyone who enjoys that. And it's too long. On any level, it's even if you're losing 1-0, 10 minutes is too long. You want 5 or 6 and go, oh, we've got a chance. You don't need 10 minutes of it. Dilution of the quality of football again. For whose end? And in a game like this as well, it's not like Ipswich are going to get anything, is it? I mean, guarantee you, McKenna wants about 3 minutes. He doesn't want 8. Because he's like, I want to keep the goal difference down. Because all that's going to happen in this 8 minutes is Liverpool, 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 Liverpool. Where's Nunez? Unused sub, mate. Here's Diaz. He's finally played a good pass. And it should have been 3. Keeper's probably been Ipswich's best player, I think. He'd be my man of the match. Connor Bradley, one-on-one save. How close Agate is. Come to Iran one day, Marky, says Mohammed. I've just realised I haven't set the stream up for the next one. I will set it up now. Arsenal are at home, aren't they? Arsenal are at home to Wolves. Man of the match for Liverpool. Got to be Salah for me. I mean, I'd be very interested to see if anybody goes anywhere else with that. But I would say that Mo Salah with a goal and an assist has been the difference. Keeper for Ipswich. They'd be the 2 standouts. There we go. That's set up. Lovely stuff. Enjoying it, though. Good to have football back. Good to have the football back. What did Charlton do? Oh, shit. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Had the shirt on yesterday. 0-0. 0-0 with Leyton Orient. It's probably going to finish that way. Been quite an equal game. Yeah, probably going to finish like that. Thanks everyone who's tuned in, by the way. We are doing West Ham Villa. Probably the low-key pick of the game weekend. The new West Ham side. God knows what lineup it will be, but it will be exciting. And then Aston Villa. Champions League. Top 4 last year. People writing them off. Interesting. Very interesting. Team news is in for everybody else, by the way. Just we've still got another 2 minutes here, so I'll go through the team news in the other games for you. Arsenal against Wolves. Wolves have got Zinchenko playing at left back. Gabriel Saliba, White, Raya. Rice, Partey, Odegaard, Martinelli, Havertz and Saka. Calafiori is on the bench and Timber is on the bench. Trossard on the bench, Jesus, Ramsdale and Wanari. Nketiah, Nelson, Jorginho. Who else is playing at 3 o'clock? Newcastle. Isak up front, Gordon and Murphy. Bruno G, Joel Linton and Longstaff. Livramento, Sharburn, Hall and Pope in goal. And then Everton against Brighton. Brighton team will be interesting. Welbeck and Pedro start. Minter, Mitoma, Milner, Weaver, Veltman, Van Heck, Dunk, Hinchelwood and Steele. And then Everton, Pickford, Mikalenko, Keane, Tarkovsky. Young is still playing. Guehi, Decore, McNeil, Calvert-Lewin and Harrison. I've just realised I've got Barco playing for me for Brighton. He's on the fucking bench. Why do I bother? Why do I bother doing FPL? Bayern fan here, but I've been following you now for 4 years. You've great thoughts about football. Amazing work to put this community together. And wish you and your family all the happiness in life. Mate, Eric, you're a lovely guy. Thank you very much. I'd be interested to see how Bayern get on this year. Last 2 years, very lucky to win it against Dortmund. Didn't win it last year with Leverkusen. Still going to be favourites this year. Vincent Kompany in charge. Who will finish higher, West Ham or Chelsea? Well, it's got to be Chelsea. Who to blame? We'll do a poll on that, though, for 3 o'clock. Have a look at the Luton keeper's red card, says Ethan. For a minute there, I was thinking, how did that happen? But they're not Premier League anymore, are they? How close is Agate? Come to Iran one day, Marky, says Mohammed. And we're about to hit the 8th minute here. Of course, Man United play Brighton next Saturday as the 12:30 kickoff. But Liverpool off to winning ways. Clean sheets, 2-0. Could have been 4 or 5. Might have been a bit harsh on Ipswich. I'm glad it wasn't. But that's the final whistle. Liverpool 2, Ipswich 0. A game of 2 halves. Ipswich were good until half-time. They fell away second half. You've got to give Arnie Slot a lot of credit for that. Obviously gave him a kick up the arse, increased the intensity, and Ipswich ran out of legs, didn't they? No minutes for Nunez. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm back with you in about half an hour's time, just before 3 o'clock for the 3 o'clock games. Arsenal against Wolves will be the featured one. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you in a few minutes' time.